Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we went to our client's landlord's suite and we got to meet him and also his, very terrible maid, to say the least. She kept pouring the hot tea all over his hand. Anyway, this time we're going to explore his little suite proper now. And as we can see, it looks like a little bit of a lower class dwelling, doesn't it? Alright, and hopefully we're finally going to meet Herlock Sholmes here. But first, we gotta do some examining, starting with the ever so important cat. Get me out of me! I love cats. I mean, that should be obvious enough. I'm playing straight at the same time as I'm playing this. That's a wonderful game, too. Oh my, what an adorable little cat! Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor Mikey, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Yeah, but the trip was like several months, though, wasn't it? Like, we took a boat here. It's not like we beamed here from Japan. Alright, let's look at the other cat now. Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that maneki neko all the way from Japan with him. What does that mean? Is that what they're called? I've never seen that word before. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? What is that? So many things I just don't know. Well, it can be very dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same. And this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. He's not doing a very good job so far, is it? Yeah, he's been here a week, and he's been accused of moida. Well, not moida, a stabbing. You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Wait, what did he say? Oh, yeah, it's another one of those cases where you're thinking too loud, Ryunosuke. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Alright, books. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reached the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Well, I guess what you could do, right? If you're an expert Jenga player, you could just pull that, high level strategy of just kicking out the bottom layer and having the whole tower fall down, without tipping over. You could do the same with the books, I imagine. Alright, let's talk about the window now. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although, all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I still don't know the full story because I don't remember it, but I remember reading, like somewhere that someplace in the world, sorry, I don't remember the details too much, is that they used to be taxed based on the amount of windows they had. And that was like a crude way of like estimating how big the household was. So what people ended up doing that they just bricked up their extra windows so they didn't want to like stop being taxed so much. I don't know if that's this case right here or not, or it's something else entirely. Maybe it's to do with the fact that I don't know something about not Mr. Natsume. Maybe he didn't like the window or something. I'm afraid I have no idea. I also imagine this might come up in court. Like maybe the prosecution is going to be like, aha! If he's claiming to have seen the murder from his window, or he would have seen the murder, and then we can point out, oh, but there's no window; it's a brick wall. I don't know, something stupid like that. Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted that brick design in a fit of whimsy. Painted the brick design. That's alarmingly. Wait, did I miss something? Oh, so now they're saying this isn't a real brick wall. It's interesting. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped in a room like this would be extremely trying. I mean, my bedroom has a window in it, but I never open it or even open the curtains because I am a vampire and I don't like the sun. And I would say it's very cozy when you keep the window shut. Alright, let's look at the candle. Someone must be in here if there's a lit candle here. And also a lamp is on too, I guess. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cats. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the date of the purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. When did the murder take place? Oh, okay. I keep saying murder. It's not a confirmed murder yet. She just got stabbed. That's the day of the incident. Is that a potential alibi? That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Secondhand book receipt. Receipt discovered in Mr. Natsume's room for some books that he had purchased from a secondhand bookshop before the incident occurred. Alright. Can I take a closer look at that, perhaps? Customer, Mr. Natsume. The sum of 2 shillings tendered in receipt of the picture of Monsieur Lecroix, a meal of Gabriel. This is definitely not English. This is like French stuff. Canterbury Yearnings. Okay, wait a second. Are these all references to real books? Like, is Canterbury Yearnings a reference to Canterbury Tales? I don't. If it is, I don't understand the other two. Anything else? Yeah. Book, candle, desk, pillow. Alright, let's go to the other side. There he is! We found him. Alright. How you been, man? How you doing? Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. We just had all those conversations. We didn't even notice he was there. Like 2 feet to the right. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? I don't know. He was just outside my peripheral vision. I never turned to look. He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, you two. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Bira. Yes, of course, the Bira. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asaji. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asaji. It was one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it, at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. Oh, that is quite the sentence, isn't it? What an honor to be remembered vaguely. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madam. Hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. Well, you got that backwards, man. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. Ah ha ha ha! I lose the first round. Was he jesting with us, or was that actually an accident? In truth, I'd hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they approached Sokosi-san in that short of an amount of time. I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can descend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow at useful ones. Dude, did you just finish saying that you have like an impeccable recollection of details, and now you're saying like, oh, don't blame me. I tend to forget stuff all the time. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. But please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I shall only be too pleased. And this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Alright, man. Let's have a nice chit-chat. Mr. Natsume's arrest. Yeah, how did you arrest him? Or why did you arrest him, I should say. We know this ought to be the lodgings, or this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Sosuke Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you, I'm not merely feigning ignorance. Stop thinking out loud, Ryunosuke! Gosh! Your thoughts are just too loud, my man. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? How? I assure you, I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. Yeah, we yoinked that ourselves. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I'm a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh dear. Alright, let's talk about the landlord. I don't know why we're talking about the landlord, but here we are. Tell me. Have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Gerdeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the Great British Institution that is in the services. Is the services, whatever. And it was the first time I've ever met a maid from the Great Britain Institution that is service. Ah ha 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 ha! I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry. He's saying if you're rich, you got a maid, bud. Try and keep up. Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelon, I've seen this word so many times, and I always forget how to pronounce it. Is it echelons or echelon? I'm just gonna say echelons. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of the first importance. I had no idea. And it's for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garrett. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. I say it. I'll say that. We knew that as much because every time he started talking about something, the maid just started pouring tea on his hand. Got cut off. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I'm yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. This man's a walking thesaurus. Alright, let's talk about the room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Wow, I'm gonna stab someone, guys! Oh my gosh! My room is just like this, too. Well, minus the books. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. I'm just a vampire. Ah, but sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window, of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Yes! I was right! I knew it! Window tax? What is that? He's gonna say the exact same thing I said earlier. Surely not a tax on windows. Yeah, like, so... Again, I don't remember where I read it, but I just remember in some place, at some point in history, right? Basically, the government taxed buildings, or like building owners, based on the amount of windows they had as like a crude way of estimating their size. You know, and to avoid taxation, they would literally stop putting in windows and brick up the existing ones to lower the taxes. Alright, precisely that. Oh my goodness. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps, rapidly closed windows up. While the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of lights. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. So some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. Okay, so this was like way ancient history, okay. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe that the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. I'm so happy I was right about the window thing. Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well then, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? Ah, ha ha ha! My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are no witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Wait. Oh, sorry, there are witnesses. I don't know why I threw in a no there. Okay. We gotcha. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Gerdeb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, didn't he? Yeah, like every bit of this conversation we've already had. Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. Why can't I speak? Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Gerdeb's secrets. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. Well, I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Why don't you come with us, man? Come help us figure it out. You seem curious enough about it. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Oh, that's it then, is it? Is there really nothing else to speak about? I guess there's nothing over here to examine. Alright, well, let's go back then, shall we? To Mr. Gerdeb's room. They were just there. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, what was the detective chap? I forget his name. Still hard at work down there. Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, yes. Rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Yes, he said it! He said the thing! Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joanne. I really should have looked up how to say that in between episodes. Oh! I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying. For the upteenth time, woman! Will you watch what you're bally-well doing? What did he say? Oh, why don't you tell me what? Okay. I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. My leave? Oh, yes, of course. We're so deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. Hang on, I want to have a little chit-chat. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gerdeb is hiding something. Since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Oh, he's here! Wait a second. Yeah, he literally did follow us up here. Let's talk with him. Ah! What's he doing over there? Oh, Mr. Sholmes! Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Sholmes, sir. At your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? He's inspecting how dirty it is. I'm given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Humph. Well, keeping an eye to one's window at dusk is a prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Yes, we're gonna do the thing. Do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you are prepared, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes! Yes! I think so! There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Gerdeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Eh? And the second, why are we not doing the super anime thing? Where like we're spinning around with the lights. Why is this happening in normal dialogue? Come on. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly... How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For this dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. Well, that's quite a thing to say. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do the thing. We're doing the thing. The game is afoot. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus, we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Well, he's looking that way. There might be something... Is it a lion? Is it actually going to be a lion? There's no way it's a lion. Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gerdeb, leads us directly to the answer. A lion! The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Okay, so that's where he's wrong. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this prideful, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you try to keep in this very house. Are there lions in India? What? What? Whoa, wait, hang on a second. Did you guys see that? When he turned his head, it looked like there was some kind of like scar on his face. I guess we haven't seen the other side of his face, have we? Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well... Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Ah! Yes, you ought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Gerdeb. At Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning. Man, there's so many words in this game I've never seen before. Yeah, look at that. If you look at his face, you can barely like make out like a little tiny like red mark on his face. In a nearby park, I've observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I've made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. A rampaging Asiatic lion. Aftermath. Now, Mr. Gyardeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. He's like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. Your head, sorry. Did I say hand? I meant to say head. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... But what, we must now ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? Look at his face! And we only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is this pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. Ah! For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, so you agree with that bit, okay. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpets over there. Okay, so clearly what actually happened, right, is something with the candle happened and it burned the rug. Because I didn't see that before, and that makes perfect sense now. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Is he gonna say that the lion tore up the carpet? Because that's clearly not what happened. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Ah! This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. You are wondering I have settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. No, you idiots! It's the candle! There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatiated appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. I'm pretty sure a lion would not eat a cake, though. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet. That is one heck of a conclusion, my man. I thought you were going to say he tore up the carpet. No, you're saying he ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Dude, what teeth marks are you looking at? I see a freaking burn mark on the carpet. Oh my gosh. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. That was quite the face to be making. Oh! Okay, I think that time was justifiable. What is the matter with you, Joanne? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Gyardeb. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, I'm sorry to butt in again, but can I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? Again. Well, your deductions just now, they kind of suck. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrett and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I'm sorry, are you saying he's tamed a lion with a cannon? I thought you said that they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Miss Susato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Well, I'm sorry, what? This is a whole bunch of nonsense. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage? That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward. Mr. Naruhodo? We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it. Alright. Here we go. But alrighty guys, I'm going to leave the episode here. We're running a little over on time, but that is just fine. I know we've had a couple short episodes recently, so that kind of makes up for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time we will do this really awesome correction here. I really love these. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I will talk to y'all later. Have a good day, guys. Bye!